My name's Richard Griffiths. I'm Professor of International Studies here at Leiden University, and I ran a MOOC called Configuring the World, which we've run 3 times so far. One of the things I've always dreamt of doing is to have this course in cyberspace and yet to link up real-world classrooms. So we'd actually prepared the material for Configuring the World, and I had a summer school to give in China. So what we did is we gave the Chinese students the material and they studied it and discussed it in the classroom. But at the same time, we made it known to all our incoming students that they could follow this course globally. So they followed it rather like the international classroom. And the students introduced themselves with photo bios, joined in the forum together, and in a way we connected this virtual world to a real life situation in China, where the students in China described their world, their background for the foreigners, and the foreign students in the rest of the world did exactly the same. So you had this unique opportunity that you couldn't get in a physical classroom. So once you've actually done the writing of the course and stood in front of a camera and recording it, almost everything else around you just takes place. I mean, it's fabulous. You end up just pushing a button and the course is run, and when it runs the second time, you just get all the spin-off of it, and you just enter and discuss in the discussion forums. It's like walking on air. It's fabulous. So it's a question of just taking out the time in your schedule to write up your material in a way that students can understand it, because you're talking to a student one-to-one. You're across a table from the student, so it requires some adaptation in the language that's used and also in the tempo. But you can make these quite intense because the students can slow it down, listen to it again if they like, if they don't understand it. So no, I would recommend anybody who has a message that thinks that has to repeat it anyway in a class to consider also doing it in this framework. I think for me the most difficult bit was the actual recording. I hadn't anticipated how difficult it was to stay on subject whilst looking at the camera and not forgetting to smile. I mean, as an academic, you strut around the stage with hardly any notes for 40 minutes on the trot, and yet being tied down to this framework and then having to think the thoughts in a rational order, that was very hard at first. But again, it's something you have to get used to, and with the encouragement of the camera team, that eventually became the most normal thing in the world. But at the beginning, yeah, second takes, third takes, fourth takes, you forgot to look at the camera, you forgot to smile. Yeah, that was hard. The course Configuring the World is now translated into 9 languages, done for free, by the people who felt so connected to the course and the topic and to each other that they were willing to translate the equivalent of a 30,000 word textbook. I think that speaks volumes of the connectivity you can have with that virtual classroom in a real world situation.